Okay, guys, once again, I welcome you to my lesson for today. Obviously, we'll be looking at mathematics. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's this chapter called Surds. So, this chapter, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very much important because normally in grade 11 and 12, you do some more of questions which involves the square roots. And in most cases, they'll be asking you questions where they need you to simplify this type of questions without you having to use a calculator. So let's just write this as part of our notes. So let's focus on law 1. From there, we'll also do law 2 and apply these laws to solve some exam type of questions, even though we might not choose a question from exam papers. But for today's lesson, I just want to introduce you to this chapter so that when we deal with exam type of questions, you are aware. Remember, guys, I've always been saying that you might be in grade 12, but the reason why you might be finding questions difficult is because you haven't really done the basics. So I'm mostly interested in teaching the basics because I know when you've got the basics, whether you're in grade 11 or 12, you won't struggle that much. So that's why those who learned the basics to understand, when they're in grade 12, you'll get surprised when they know exactly where to start a mathematical problem. And again, it's not easy to tell someone that for this type of questions, this is how you approach it, because most of maths questions are new, they are tricky in their own ways. But when you know the basics, you always know the starting point, because when it comes to maths, it's all about knowing the starting point, which is what I'm mostly interested in, because I know once you fully understand the basics, you will never go wrong. So law number 1, they call it multiplication law. So you can just write this as part of your notes. So it's called multiplication law, which says when you've got n square root of a multiplied by, obviously we have to multiply because we are dealing with multiplication law, multiplied by n square root of b. So you can just write that as part of your notes. I'm going to expand that part over there shortly. So let's now have a look at division law. Division law. So division law, obviously, that's where we've got n to the square root of a divided by n square root of b. Ladies and gentlemen, remember at all times a letter represents a certain number. So it doesn't matter whether they choose to use letter n, it could have been any letter from A up to Z. And again, A there or B there, it doesn't matter which letter they used. You just need to understand that if they used n over there, and again they repeated that same n, it means that n, it could be, if it's 4, then it's 4 there, and again it's 4 there. If it's A there, it's a different number because they used a different letter there. But it doesn't really matter that much in terms of what number it's A or what number is B. So now let's try to expand this first law, which is multiplication law. So, ladies and gentlemen, it means if you've got, let me do that. So if you've got n to the exponent, to the square root of a multiplied by n square root of b. Because you are multiplying that and that, it means this can be equated to 1n, where you multiply a and b. So I'm not really sure if it makes sense, guys, but remember, guys, in case if you feel like you do not understand what I've just explained up to this point, do not worry that much, because for you it's just to have this notes written down and again understanding the arrangements of all of this. Then when we solve problems, that's when you're going to have a better understanding, because you'll be knowing which rules I'm applying. So remember, you can either choose to write all of this as I write, or otherwise take some screenshots so that you don't get disturbed as I write, and at the same time you write. So guys, remember, when it comes to the rules, it means you can be given something similar to that, of which you can write in reverse as that, which means if you've got n square root of a multiplied by b, then this is the same as n square root of a multiplied by n square root of b. So remember, it doesn't matter whether you are given a problem in that format or in that format. You just need to know that if it's in that format and I need to rewrite it in a different format, this is the format to write it. So be careful of something. If you've got 7 over there, it has to be 7 over there again for you to multiply what is inside the brackets. That's why I'm saying you should be careful of the letters. They used n over there and n over there, but inside it's a and b. So that's why they use just one n to represent that one and that one, and whatever that is inside, the square roots are being multiplied within that square root over there. So let's have a look at the division law, which is if you've got n square root of a, which is divided by n square root of b, this can be equated to n square root of a divided by b, and again vice versa. You can move from that to this. You can also move from that to this, just like you can do with that to that, and again you can move from there to there. So guys, in case if you were not writing down, you can just take a screenshot before I remove all of this and start with some few practicing questions. So ladies and gentlemen, in case if there's someone who's got a question, this is that opportunity for you to ask any question that you might be having with regards to what I've explained so far. Anyone with a question, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so guys, let's now try to have some problems to work on. Remember, guys, in most of my lessons, I always say if you have square root of 5, remember, you've got a number there, you've got a square root, you've got a, let's say you've got a number there, and again, you've got a number there. I'm going to ask you a question, guys. I remember I've done this explanation before. So for those who attended that lesson are going to be able to answer this question. So on that number there, square root of 5, in that position over there, what is the number there? Obviously, we know. I won't ask you this question to say, in that number there, what is it? Because already we know it's a 5. So we've got a square root of 5. But what is that number there on that number? In short, I'm asking, what is that number there? Anyone to give it a try?
It's 2, sir. It's
Uh,
2.
do you guys do you guys agree with her when she says it's 2 over there? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What number is there? Anyone to give it a try? Okay. So guys, I'm going to assume that for this type of
It's 1.
okay, 100% it's 1. So just so that we don't lose some of you guys, I'm going to now teach in detail in terms of how you analyze a given number. And again, guys, please do make sure that
It's 1,
you do
sir.
not miss my lessons, because once you do, and you'll find that we're solving some problems, you won't fully understand why and how we deal with certain problems. So guys, remember, if you've got number 5, you've got a number as number 5, and again it has an exponent, which is 1. So if you have 2, this is the same as 2 to the exponent 1. If you've got 7, guys, this is the same as 7 to the exponent 1. Only if you've got 2 to the exponent 7, then we know this is 2 to the exponent 7, and we can punch it and have just one single number. But obviously, you know that one single number is going to have an exponent which is 1. Then we just do this and say 2 to the exponent 3. This is the same as 2 to the exponent 3, meaning the exponent of that base is 3. But when you punch the whole of this on a calculator, it's equals to 8. But now, what is the exponent of that 8? So it's the same as 8 to the exponent 1. So now, let me explain all of that using a letter. So if you've got y, just know that you've got a coefficient, you've got y, and you still have an exponent. So the coefficient in this case is 1, the exponent is 1. So if you've got x, this means this is the same as 1x to the exponent 1. Remember, you always have a coefficient, you always have an exponent. So only if you have 2, let's say 2p, you know the coefficient of p is 2 and the exponent is 1. So ladies and gentlemen, let me now explain how the square roots works. If you have square root of, let's say square root of 4, at all times, guys, there you've got a number, and inside the square root, that number also has got a number or an exponent. So if you just have square root, always there's an invisible 2 over there. If you just have a number which is 4, always you've got an invisible power there which is 1. So that means square root of 5. This is the same as 2 square root of 5. Remember, there's that invisible exponent 1 over there, which means square root of 5 is the same as that. This is what you must know, guys. A square root of 4. This is the same as 2 square root of 4. Guys, if we've got 3 square root of 7. Then in this case, because they specified a number there to say is 3, that's when you know it's just 3 square root of 7 to the exponent 1 over there. So guys, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. If you've got square root of 8, this is the same as what? Is there someone who wants to give it a try?
It's the same as square root to the power to 8.
Remember, Shreyas, is the same as 2 square root of 8 to the power 1. So always remember that too, that if it's not written over there, they just wrote square root. Just know there's invisible 2 there, there's invisible 1 over there. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, because if you understand this type of questions, you will never struggle. I'm going to teach you something and I won't make it difficult. Square root of 4. How much is that? What is square root of 4, guys?
It's 2.
Square root of 4 is the same as 2. So let's apply the rules to show that indeed square root of 4 is 2. Remember, there's invisible 2 there, there's invisible 1 there. So that means this is the same as 2 square root of 4 to the exponent 1. Which means when we apply a rule that I taught in my previous lessons, this is the same as 4 to the exponent 1, which is that 1, over 2, which is that 2. So try to punch all of this on a calculator and check if it gives you 2. Just say 4 to the exponent 1 over 2. If it doesn't give you 2, let me know. But before that, I think I must teach this one again to say, when you've got, let's say, n square root of a, this is the same as, obviously we know it's n square root of a to the exponent 1. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same as a to the exponent that 1 over whatever that is there, which is n. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got x square root of b to the exponent y, this is the same as, remember, we are trying to rewrite this without a square root. So in short, I want to write down this without the root sign. So that means this is the same as b to the exponent. You start with whatever that is the exponent of the base inside the square root. Then you say over x, which is whatever that is there. That is the reason why I'm saying, what is square root of 9? So remember, over there we've got invisible 2, we've got invisible 1 over there, which means this is the same as 9 to the exponent 1 over that invisible 2 over there. So this should be the same as, what is it? Is it 3? I think square root of 9 is 3. So if you punch 9 to the exponent 1 over 2, it should give you 3. So I want to make you aware of something. The reason why when you have square root of, let's say, square root of 5, and you know, ladies and gentlemen, from some mathematical problems where you need to remove the square root, they always say when you remove the square root, you multiply or you square the square root by 2. Why are you squaring that square root by 2? And why, when you square it by 2, it removes that square root? Is because, remember, this thing inside the brackets is the same as 5 to the exponent that invisible 1 over that invisible 2, which makes it 1 over 2. You close the bracket. Remember that squared that you are multiplying with because you want to remove the square root. Then, obviously, you multiply the exponents. So it's more like you've got 5 to the exponent 1 over 2, which is that 1 over 2, multiplied by 2. So obviously, half multiplied by 2, this cancels, that cancels, you remain with invisible 1. It makes it 5 to the exponent 1, which is the same as 5. So that is why they say when you remove a square root, you multiply by 2. But it doesn't end there. When you have 3 square root of, let's say, 4, to remove that square root, because in this case you can see you have a 3 over there. Let's firstly rewrite the whole of this before we remove the square root. So that means this is the same as, let's say, square root of 3, 4 to the exponent that invisible 1, which is the same as 4, we know, is that invisible 1 divided by whatever it is there. So can you see, in this case, you cannot remove that square root by 2. Why? Because over there, it's a 3, which means you must remove that by 3. Why by 3? Because you know 4 to the exponent 1 over 3, which is that which is inside. You now multiply the exponents. You say multiplied by 3. It cancels. Then you remain with 4 to the exponent invisible 1, which means if it's 10 over there, then if you have 10 square root of 4, then you remove it by 10. So it means whatever that is there, and you want to remove that square root, you multiply by whatever that is there. So the only tricky part is that when you have square root of 9, just know there's an invisible 2 over there, just like there's an invisible 1 over there. Ladies and gentlemen, before I do some mini exercises, do you guys understand what I've explained so far, or would you like me to re-explain something that you feel like I did explain but it doesn't make sense so far?
I understand, sir.
I understand, sir.
100%. So now I'm going to do this exercise for you, and then from there I'll give you some problems to also keep yourself busy with. The question says, write the following without root sign. So we write without root sign, which means it's a problem which is given in a form of a root sign. So we've got 4 square root of a to the exponent 6. And the second one, let's see, we've got, let's say we've got 3 square root of x to the exponent 5. So I want to write this without a root sign. Obviously, for this one, I'm going to have the base. The exponent is going to be that 6 over there, divided by whatever that is there, which is 4. So can you see? You can further simplify that one. I think 6 over 4. What is it, guys? Is it 3 over 2? I think it's 3 over 2. So that means this is where it ends. You've written it without the root sign. So that one is going to be x. You have 5 to the exponent 3. So this one, it cannot be further simplified. It just ends there. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the first exercise that I had to do. I'm going to write down what you will need to do as part of your homework. Just write it down, guys. Do a square root of a to the exponent 5. And again, this is a for number 1, and then B, do, let's say 4 square root of x to the exponent minus y. So make sure to either take a screenshot or otherwise you can write it down. So number 2, we want to write the following with a root sign. Write with a root sign. So I'm going to just work out a few for you, and I'll also give you something to write. So let's say we've got a to the exponent 4 over 5. This one is just a reverse of everything that I've explained. Obviously, you know you're going to have square root of the base, which is a. Whatever which is the numerator, it becomes your exponent, which is 4. Whatever that is the denominator, then it becomes whatever that you write over there. The second problem, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got, let's say, x to the exponent 1 over 6, this will be equals to, you start with a square root, then you write x. Whatever the numerator it is, you know it's 1. Whatever the denominator it is, you can just write it there. Obviously, this is the same as 6 square root of x. No need to write that invisible one over there. So now I'm going to give you a problem to do, which forms part of your homework. Remember, guys, please do not take these homeworks for granted. It's not really about the homeworks being difficult, tricky, whatever. There's going to be a time where whoever who has been attending my lessons will get an extra attention, especially during those times when we'll be doing exams. So I just want this group to remain with only those who are active, because it doesn't help for me to spend a lot of time doing lessons, whereas you don't attend every day, and again, towards exams, you fail. It doesn't serve a purpose. If you're not able to attend, as long as you can communicate, then it's fine. Then I know you might be busy preparing for a test, exam, or whatever. There are most of you guys who are always communicating. So if you're not able to attend a lesson, guys, never feel guilty. Just make sure to indicate, to say, I couldn't do that homework because I was busy preparing for test, exam, or whatever. That is enough. In that way, I'm able to know who's active and who's not active. Because otherwise, if your parents think you're attending lessons, but you find that you're not attending, you're not communicating, towards the end of the year, when you fail, it becomes a surprise and also a problem to me, because it will be as if I wasn't giving you guys enough attention. So guys, please do make sure that if you don't attend, you make a notice, and then from there, it's best for you to catch up, because when you catch up, you won't be lost when we move on to other chapters. So guys, this is your homework. X to the exponent 2 over 3. The other one is a to the exponent 1 over 2. And remember not to to send these homeworks in the group. Send via inbox. So guys, the third problem is for us to simplify without using a calculator. Simplify with no calculator. So this is now preparing you to exam type of questions. The first problem, we've got 3 to the exponent 8. 3 square root of 8 to the exponent 4. So in my case, if I had to simplify this without using a calculator, I know I can write that as 8 to the exponent 4 over 3. So I've just simplified that without using a calculator, guys. So again, let me also check if I've got another problem that I can solve. Let me see. Okay, let me write this one, even though it looks a bit complicated, but I think it's going to be a great exercise so that you've got an idea of exactly where we are going with this type of problem. So imagine we've got 4 square root of into, we've got 625 over 81 close, all of that to the exponent 3. So remember, guys, is there someone who wants to guess the first step, forgetting about this fraction inside the brackets, but just applying one of those rules that I've taught you in the beginning of this lesson? How else can we write that without the square root sign?
It's going to be 625 over 81, all raised to the power 3 over 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, applying one of the rules, this is the same as 625 divided by 81 close to the exponent 3 over 4. Can we further simplify the exponent, which is 3 over 4? No, we can't. But now, whatever that is inside the brackets, can we rewrite it in an exponential form? Guys, is there a way in which, okay, let's start with this one, which is the denominator. Is there a way in which we can write 81 in an exponential form?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's 3 to the power 4, 81.
Ladies and gentlemen, 81 is 3 to the exponent 4. So my question is, what is 625? Remember, we had to simplify this, which is that, without using a calculator. So this is how you approach this type of questions where you need to simplify without using a calculator. So what is 625, guys?
It will be 5 to the exponent 4.
100%, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able to notice that that is the same as 5 to the exponent 4, 3 to the exponent 4 is the same as that. Then can you see, you moved from Surds to a exponential form. Now you apply those rules that we did for the exponents. I'm not sure if you remember, guys. So can you see, because the bases are not the same, you cannot say maybe whatever base, then you say 4 minus 4. It's because you have 3 there, you have 5 there. So you cannot apply the exponential rules there. But what you can do, you can multiply that exponent there, and you can multiply that exponent there. For those who attended that lesson, they remember very well that this is now the same as 5 to the exponent 4 multiplied by 3 over 4 divided by 3 to the exponent 4 multiplied by 3 to the exponent 4. Guys, do you understand that part?
Yes, sir.
100%. Obviously, that cancels that cancels that. Then you remain with 5 to the exponent 3 divided by 3 to the exponent 3. Remember, guys, because the bases are not the same, you cannot apply that rule where you subtract the exponents. But what you can do is to punch all of that on a calculator, and rewrite them down. So what is 5 to the exponent 3?
125.
123. What is that?
135, sir.
Sorry, 125. Then what is that?
It's 27.
It's 27. What is nice, Shreyas, about the exponents is that you can see you don't have a letter. Let me see. We've got Shreyas, we've got Lerato, we've got Lebu, Spo, Linda, Promise. So all of you guys, punch this on a calculator and let me know if you find that final answer. If you do not find that final answer, Linda, it means your simplification is wrong, or otherwise you did not punch all of that correctly. So punch 4 square root of 625 over 81 to the exponent 3. The mistake that most of you guys will make is to punch 4 square root of all of that to the exponent 3. It's different. So in this case, you must punch 4 square root of that and not 4 square root of that. Because otherwise, if you punch it that way, it's more like you've got 4, then you have invisible 2 square root of that to the exponent 3. So guys, is there someone who has punched all of that? And what answer are you getting when you punch all of that?
Sir.
125 over 27, sir.
That's
So it
about
gives you that final
125 over
answer.
7.
So it gives you that final answer, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
100%. Let's do another problem, of which it might look a bit complicated, which is what will be given in exams. And again, you just need to make sure that you understand my explanation. Once you do, then it gives you the confidence that you can study these things on your own and fully understand. So we've got 3 over 8 x to the exponent 12. We've got y negative 6 close square root of 2. Guys, I just need the first step. Remember, the question says simplify the following without using a calculator. We have simplified the first one. So now, let's simplify this one. What is the first step, guys?
Is to remove the cube roots.
First step, guys. So what am I going to write?
Say, you're going to say brackets and write all of that on the bracket and close the brackets. Squared over 3.
100%. So it's whatever that is inside to the exponent 2 over 3. So this might look a bit complicated, or otherwise it might complicate our life. For us to write it easily, let's punch this on a calculator and convert it to just a normal fraction. What is 3 over 8? What is that, guys?
So it will be 27 over 8.
100%. So this is 27 over 8 multiplied by x to the exponent 12 multiplied by y to the exponent -6. So I hope we are all on the same page on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, before we even go far, is it possible for us to write this and that in an exponential form? Is that possible?
Yes, sir.
So what is 27?
3 to the exponent 3, sir.
3 to the exponent 3. What is 8?
2 to the exponent 3.
3.
100%. 2 to the exponent 3 multiplied by x to the exponent 12 multiplied by. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you see that y, it has got a, what is it? It has got a negative exponent. And you remember, based on those rules, we said we want to write exponents as positive exponents, which means we can say all of that divided by y to the exponent +6. I'm not sure if you still remember, and again, if you agree with me on that one. Do you guys agree?
Yes, sir.
Guys, remember, if you don't agree or you don't understand, you can ask me. As an example, I'm going to write this as an example just so that you understand. If you have 1 over 2 a, let's say a times b. So all of this can be written at the top, which means this is the same as 1 times a times b, all of that divided by 2. Guys, if you've got 4 divided by 7 xy, this is the same as 4xy divided by 7. So that 7, it's not only for 4, but you can just extend that line, then you have everything at the top divided by that. But now in this case, remember, so we have 4 over 9, we've got x squared multiplied by y to the exponent -1. So this is the same as 4x squared y to the exponent -1. That 9 divides everything. So now the problem is that y is in a negative exponent. So we have to write it as a positive exponent. So we move it from the numerator to the denominator, which means we've got 4 to the exponent, 4x squared over that 9 y to the exponent +1. Guys, do you understand that part? Do you understand this explanation, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
100%, which means I can confidently continue with that problem. So that means in this case, we don't have the same basis, we cannot work out those. We don't have the basis, we cannot work out those, which means we then multiply the exponents. We multiply the exponents, multiply the exponents, multiply the exponents. That means we've got 3 to the exponent 3 multiplied by 2 over 3 multiplied by x to the exponent 12 multiplied by 2 over 3. The whole of this divided by 2 to the exponent 3 multiplied by 2 to the exponent 3 multiplied by y exponent 6 multiplied by that multiplied by that. Ladies and gentlemen, do you agree with me on all of that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes,
which
sir.
means that cancels, and you remain with what? I think, let me remove that middle part so that I've got enough space to write the step that follows this one, which means we've got 3 to the exponent 2, and then there we've got multiplied by x. So what is, obviously, what was it? I think it's, yes, it's 2 over there. That means we've got all of this. What is it? So it's more like it's 12 multiplied by 2 is 24 divided by 3. What is 24 divided by 3? Let's see, 24 divided by 3 is the same as 8. So we've got exponent 8 over there, divided by, that cancels that. Then I've got 2 to the exponent 2. That divided by that is, what is it? Is 2 multiplied by that is 4. Then I've got y to the exponent 4. Guys, does all of that make sense? Do you understand how I got that?
Yes, sir.
100%. 3 squared, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same as 9. I cannot further simplify that part, so it remains as x to the exponent 8 divided by 2 squared is equals to 4y to the exponent 4. So this is the end of that problem. So if you want to prove if your final answer is correct, wherever you see x, you can maybe choose to substitute 2. Wherever you see y, you can maybe choose to substitute 2. So you can substitute it there, substitute it there, punch all of this on a calculator. Whatever answer that you get, you must get the same answer when you substitute there as your 2 and there again as your 2. Or otherwise, for y, maybe use a different number and say 4. But even if you use 2 and 2, it's fine. You must just find the same answer. Ladies and gentlemen, did all of this make sense?
Say it did.
Yes, sir.
100%. So we did a very simple problem, and this one, it was a bit complicated problem. But now, let's try this one. Square root of 8x to the exponent 6 to the exponent 4. Let's try to simplify this without using a calculator. First step, try to rewrite whatever without a square root, which means you've got whatever that is inside this, and obviously you've got 2 over there. So again, remember, you've got that exponent 4 over there. So whatever that is inside the brackets is ax to the exponent 6. You've got a 2 there. Then we can say to the exponent 1 over 2. It might be confusing for you guys over there because you see 6 there and you're saying, why am I not saying 6 over a 2? So let me maybe rewrite it in this form so that you understand, guys. Let's say we've got x to the exponent 8 and they say square root of that. This is the same as whatever that is inside the brackets, which is all of that. Then you know you've got an invisible 1 over there. invisible 2 over there, then that's why I'm going to say 1, which is that 1, over 2, which is that 2. But I still have whatever that is inside the brackets as it is. Then you can rewrite it in that form that you understand, which is x to the exponent that 8 over there divided by 2. Obviously, you know there's that invisible 1 over there. Otherwise, if you multiply the exponents, obviously you know 8 multiplied by half is 8 over 2. But you still multiply that exponent there, where you have 1 to the exponent 1 over 2. But you know 1 to the exponent anything is the same as just 1. So, guys, I'm not sure if this calculation confuses you, but let me proceed. Maybe you will understand it better. Remember, this multiplied that and this multiplies that. You know very well, ladies and gentlemen, that 8 is the same as, what is it? Is 3 to the exponent and 2 to the exponent 3. Let me just say multiplied by x to the exponent that, and then we still have that half, and you have 4. So you multiply the exponents, you multiply that, you multiply this, which means you've got what is it? 2 as the base, 2 to the exponent 3 multiplied by 1 over 2 multiplied by x, 6 multiplied by 1 over 2. Remember, you still have that 4 over there. So this is 2 to the exponent 3 over 2 multiplied by this is the same as x to the exponent 3. Remember, you still have that 4. You still multiply again by the exponents, that by that, that by that. So the same as 2 to the exponent 3 over 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by x, 3 multiplied by 4, which is the same as, what is this, guys? This is the same as 2 times 3, which is 6. So it's more like it's 2 to the exponent 6 multiplied by x to the exponent, what is that? Is it 12? 3 times 4 is 12. This is the same as, what is 2 to the exponent 6? Is 64. X to the exponent 12. Ladies and gentlemen, did we all understand that? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
100%. Let's now prove if the answer is correct. Punch this on your calculator. Say square root of 8. Let's maybe punch x as whatever number, then c to the exponent 4. So punch this and substitute maybe 217 or whatever number that you like, and again punch that same number, put in 64, that same number to the exponent 12, and let me know if you get the same answer. I won't tell you which number to use, but just choose. Someone use 2, someone use 7, someone use 10, someone use 19, someone use any number, and just let me know if you find the same answer. Ntando, remember to mute your mic and only unmute when you provide an answer. Whoever gets an answer to be the same, just mention your name. Desmond, the same. Desmond, not the same answer.
Lerato, sir, I got the same answer, sir.
Okay. So, Lerato, when you get the same answer, what does it mean?
It means this multiplication is correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, do we agree with what Lerato is saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes,
So,
sir.
ladies and gentlemen, let me also give you a very, it's not really tricky, but it's something that you might come across in one of your exams. They can just say, what is it? Let me check. What is that? Okay, this is it. They can just say 3 square root of, in brackets, you've got 0,125 close to the exponent -2, and they want you to simplify that without using a calculator. Remember, guys, when you simplify, you don't want anything in a form of decimal. So punch this on a calculator and see what it is in a fraction form. So take your calculator and say 0,125, it's equals to, this is the same as 1/8. Then rewrite it in that form to say 3 square root of 1/8 close -2. Then again, write it again, removing the exponents, which means you've got whatever that is inside the brackets, which is 1/8. You can choose to say maybe -2 over that 3 over there. Still the same thing. Again, because you've got an experience, you can rewrite that as 8 to the exponent -1 minus 2 over 3. Then you know you can just multiply the exponents, which means you've got 8 to the exponent -1 multiplied by -2 over 3. This is the same as 8 to the exponent, that cancels, then 1 times that is 2 over 3. Remember, this can be further simplified as what? Is 2 to the exponent 3. This is 8. So you still have that exponent. So can you see, guys, the examiner wants you to perform this type of questions because they know you must first work out the first multiplication of the exponents. And then secondly, work out the base in that form so that you still multiply the exponents again, which means you still have 2 to the exponent 3 multiplied by 2 over 3. That cancels that. Then you remain with 2 to the exponent 2. What is this, guys? This is 4. So now that you've got your final simplification as 4, it means when you punch all of this on your calculator, it has to give you 4. If not, then somewhere you made a mistake, or otherwise you punched it incorrectly. So can you guys punch all of that on a calculator and tell me if you get 4?
I got 4, sir.
Another one to confirm.
I got
Yes, sir.
4.
So we are all
4,
getting
sir.
4, isn't it?
Yes.
So now I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to work out this one in this lesson. Whoever gets an answer, let's see, 0,04 square root of 5. So guys, quickly write down all of that or solve all of that. I'm going to ask you questions in terms of what was your first step. After that step, I'm going to write it down. The other one, what is the other step? The other one, what is the other step? I'm going to randomly select. So just make sure that you do it. If you get confused, make those mistakes, because we are going to learn from those mistakes. In the meantime, I want to write you guys a full the questions that you'll be doing as part of your homework. So while in the meantime you're solving that, I'll write your homework. Whoever is done, just comment and say done. Don't give me an answer. Mention your name and say done.
Linda, done.
Answer.
Okay.
Lerato dancer.
Okay.
Yes, done, sir.
Okay. Okay. Shreyas, what was your first step?
So I said 0.04, which gave me 1 over 25. So I put
Okay.
it
End it
the
there,
root
hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. You're saying this gives you what?
1 over 25.
Okay, 1 over 25. Is that correct, guys? Let me also check on my side. 0.04. Okay, 1 over 25. Okay. Let me see. Ntando, what was your second step from this one?
Yo. Oh, okay, so I open the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
I put 1 over 25.
1 over 25.
Yeah, to the exponent of 1 over 2.
To the exponent of 1 over 2. Ne?
Yes.
Okay. 100%. Let me check. Linda, do you agree with that step?
Yes, sir, but he forgot to multiply it by the exponent of 5.
Yes.
Who's saying yes? Is it
It's
Ntando?
Tando. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
no, Ntando. Then it seems like you were not yet done. You can re-explain that step.
Okay, sir. I will open another big brackets.
100%, 100%. Then
Put exponent 5.
100%. So it means you guys you've got a good understanding of how these things work. So You are on the right track. So, ladies and gentlemen, at all times, do it step by step, just like Ntando is saying there. So he firstly did that part. Then he was going to open a big bracket where he multiplies by that. What is it? No, Ntando, this is what you wanted to do. Let me write it correctly so that we are all on the same page. It's the same thing, but let's write it correctly. This is how you would do it, isn't it? And say 1/2. Am I correct, guys?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes. So
Yes,
this is what I'm
sir.
trying to say. That write whatever that is inside the brackets. If you had 4 over there, then it means you're going to have to write whatever inside the brackets and say 1/4 over there. So now that you've got this 1/2, let me see. Lebogang, what was your other step after this one? Okay.
So it was 1/2 raised to the power of 5/2.
So you're saying 1 over 25, like that, ne? Spo, what's your next step after this one? Okay, promise.
Sir, are we not multiplying the exponents?
So tell me what to write.
So I think it's gonna be, let me see. I say it can't because there's 1/25 already. So I don't know if there's an invisible one. So I'm not sure.
If you want to test if there's an invisible one, punch on a
Yes.
calculator 1 to the exponent invisible 1 and check if it gives you 1. If it gives you 1, it means there is an invisible 1. So, which means, guys, at all times, there's always invisible 1. There's always invisible 1. So, now I've confirmed to you that there is an invisible 1. Then, what is the next step? You can just give it a try. Just say whatever that comes into your mind so that you make a mistake which we can all learn from.
Okay, so it's gonna be 1 to the exponent of 1 multiplied by 5 divided by 2
Mm-hmm.
over 25 to the exponent of 1 multiplied by 5/2.
Continue.
And then, oh, so the calculator I have doesn't have fractions or
Or it
exponents.
doesn't have fraction button. Then it's
Yes.
going to be an issue with that one. But still, if you don't have a calculator that has a fraction button, then you must multiply 1 by 5, then divide by 2. Multiply 1 by 5, then divide by 2. But otherwise,
Okay.
it's fine. The understanding is there, but my advice to you is that try to find a calculator that has a fraction button, because it's going to make your life very, very much easy. Because in this case, you might need to use double the effort to do something which is very simple for you to do. Otherwise, let's say, Lerato, can you further simplify this or otherwise approach it differently if there is a different approach. But this is correct.
So said the next step will be to change the denominator into its prime basis, which is going to be 1 over 5 to the power 2, all raised to the power 5 over 2.
And then
say I took the denominator to the numerator, then the exponents will change. Oh, firstly I just cancelled the 2's in the denominator and I was left with 1 over 5 to the power 5. Then
okay, you can leave it there. Let's see. Promise. Then there, how can we work it out there?
So are we not supposed to punch the whole thing on a calculator?
But remember, they said without using a calculator.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see first.
So remember, guys, even though they said without using a calculator, I just didn't want Promise to say we punch the whole of this on a calculator. Just punch that one only and say 1 over, what is 5 to the exponent 5?
it's 3,125.
Yes. So this cannot be further simplified. It therefore remains as 1 over 3,125. So let's punch all of this and check if we get that final answer. Then we have square root of into 0.04 close to the exponent 5. Then I'm getting 1 over 3,125. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very much impressed with today's lesson. You seemed to be understanding all that I was doing. So now it's up to you to practice even more. But this forms part of your homework, guys. Just take a screenshot so that you don't spend much of your time writing all of that. Take a screenshot, and then from there, just remember that this is your homework. My homeworks don't have a deadline, guys. In case you are busy, don't stress that much. Don't waste much of your time that you should be using to prepare for your test, exam, assignment, or whatever. Just say you still remember the homework. You'll do it when you get a chance. You are busy with 1, 2, 3. And again, if you are able to attend lessons, attend. But one thing for sure, communication is very, very, very much important, guys. At all times, make sure that you communicate in that way. I will never forget you even during the time of exams where I will need to prepare you guys. So, guys, did you all take a screenshot? Can I now end this lesson?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so remember,
Yes,
tomorrow we will continue with the Surds, and then from there on the second or on our third lesson, that's where I'll be checking for exam type of questions of which we will need to all work them out. And remember, guys, these are the basics that you should at all times remember. Always when you see a square root, maybe similar to that one, you must know how to play around a square root, because what they do in exam, they just combine 1, 2, 3 and form a question which has got some fractions. You just need to work it out one by one, one by one, one by one, step by step. Work them out until you get to the end and you know how to prove it. So ladies and gentlemen, are you all happy with today's lesson? Or otherwise, is there someone who's got a question or maybe need something to be explained again?
Yeah, happy sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
guys,
sir.
it seems like most of us are happy with today's lesson. So, guys, this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Have a very good night. I'll see you on our next lesson. I'm not really sure. I think it's going to be on Monday. So just make sure that you practice some more, and again you use those homeworks to remember. You now know how to test if your answer is correct or not. Just make sure that you work it out until it's correct. If it's not correct, you can just keep it and only send those that you are 100% sure with. But those other ones, I will still need them. Even if you finish your matric, I will still need those, but they must be correct because you know how to prove if your final answer is wrong or correct. So, guys, I'm ending this lesson. Stop recording.